Hey, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Just want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakodash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught us this truth. Salutation unto the brothers out there pushing this word and enduring unto the end. This is your brother Yassad.
Brother Yahadan.
From the Trinidad GMS Prophetic Vibration, bringing unto you another lesson, willing to edify into the Spirit. So this here gonna be a response video to our elder Nagad concerning the video that he did Israel captivity from one to the next. That was a real edifying video, so he actually tell me to do a response to it. So hey, to the Spirit, I'll go through into a little small I'll just bring out some little information concerning the captivity and a little history tying into the Bible as well too. So I'll start off with we could bring out the book Joshua chapter 24 and from verse 27, from verse 7.
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 24.
Start. Alright, from verse 6.
6. Yeah, this is Joshua chapter 24 and verse 6. It says, "And I brought your fathers out of Egypt, and ye came unto the sea, and the Egyptians pursued after your fathers with chariots and horsemen unto the Red Sea."
Already. So this is when the Lord, through the power of Yahweh Shem and Shai, he sent the messenger and the prophet Moses, to deliver us, the Israelites, out of the hand of the Egyptian captivity, out of the hand of Pharaoh. Yeah, so after they being delivered, now there was fleeing, and there was fleeing through the Red Sea where the Lord do wonderful works by even making a pathway through the sea for the children of Israel. But Pharaoh, the Lord hardened his heart, so he sent his men to go after our forefathers with horsemen and these chariots that's going into the 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 vehicle, or the horses what they used to use back then, to transport people and so forth.
That point in time, that used to be the means of transport. Yeah, continuing, it says, verse 7, it says, "And when they cried unto Yahweh, he put darkness between you and the Egyptians."
Right? Yeah, because this here was actually the Lord guiding Israel through the chariots, because let me let's get a scripture real quick.
Yeah, that go back to the precept where it said that he was a pillar of fire by day and a cloud by night. That was the chariot, as the brother said.
Let me go into the quick. Go ahead and read down in the little bit now, but find there.
Yeah, verse 7 it says, "And when they cried unto Yahweh, he put darkness between you and the Egyptians."
This is the book of Exodus 14 and verse 20. It's saying it, let me start, right, let me start at verse 18. "And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh, when I have gotten the honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And the angel of Yahweh, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them, and the pillar of cloud went from before the face and stood behind them. So that pillar of cloud was the chariot,
Can.
manifesting itself in that cloud. It said, and it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness to them. So it was a dark cloud unto the Egyptians, whereby they could not make out, which part Israel was. And it was but it gave light by night to these, so that one came not near the other all night. So it was actually given light unto to the Israelites, and it was
Can.
being a darkness, you know, to um unto the
Egyptians.
Egyptians.
Can. That is
Yeah,
show you the power of Hashem Yahshai.
can,
One spot is light and the next spot is darkness. That is
can,
show the love Yahweh Hashem Yahshai have for the Israelites. Have for us. That is show how he good thee, but he didn't even know him.
can,
Because look in this time and all too. I but I go want to know, hey, I know driving on this canal it bunks me. But the next unfortunate person end up getting bunked and dead. And that same brother in the latter time end up coming into the street.
can. Yeah, go on down your
And
finish
I'll
your verse
continue with
7.
him. I was at the it say, and when they cried unto Yahweh, he put darkness between you and the Egyptians, and brought the sea upon them, and covered them. And your eyes have seen what I have done in Egypt, and ye dwell in the wickedness,
In the
in the wilderness a long season.
can. So this actually, all of that was actually the wondrous works of the Lord too. So he actually parted the Red Sea,
Can,
and when the Egyptians came to cross to pursue after Israel now, after the Lord guiding them with a big chariot, showing a big darkness unto the Egyptians and light unto Israel. The
can,
Lord actually closed back up the gap in the sea and destroyed the Egyptians. And it goes on to say, and he dwelt in the wilderness a long season.
can,
And I brought you unto the land of the Amorites, right, which dwelt on the other side Jordan, and they fought with you. Because when Israel came out of the captivity of the Egyptians,
can,
that was in the wilderness, right? So in around in the vicinity in the land called Africa right now, and these Amorites, right? When you go into the blue letter, it's going into even like different tribes of Ham now. It had different tribes of Ham, but they was the lineage of Ham, or just as Canaan and even the Palestinians, and they up to this day they actually located in the their landmark right now is like Gaza and Gaza Strip and Syria. That is the it is a West Bank and Gaza, a southern portion of Syria. Yeah, so go ahead on in it.
yeah, I was started continuing verse 8 it say, and I brought you in the land of the Amorites which dwell on the other side of Jordan, and they fought with you, and I gave them into your hand, that ye might possess their land, and I destroyed them from before you.
And so these nations, the Lord actually was, you know, delivering these nations into Israel's hand, and yeah, that Israel was possessing their land and taking their spoils and so forth.
Can,
So when you go down, it goes on to say the same thing. The Palestinians and all these other nations as well too, you know, made war against Israel. all of these Hamite nations and tribes, they was making war against Israel. But through the power of the Lord and them, praising unto the
Can.
Lord was delivering them unto the hand until, you know, when the Joshua, right, in the book of Judges, when the children of Israel started doing evil before the sight of the Lord delivered them into the hands that's not, into the hands of Jabin, king of Canaan, right? So that is in the book of Judges, chapter 4, from I'll start at verse 1. It says, and the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord when Ehud was dead, and the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of host, yeah, whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Haroset of the Gentiles. Yeah. So these Israel was placed into slavery, into captivity under the Canaanites. And going down further down in the book of Judges, right? After the Lord delivered them out of the hands of the Canaanites, they continued to do evil in the sight of the Lord. In the book of Judges, chapter 6, it says, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them in the hand of Midian 7 years. And the hand of the Midian prevailed against Israel. And because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them the dens which are in the mountains and caves and strongholds. Right? So the Israelites was doing servitude unto the Midianites,
Can.
as being slaves unto them and doing their work.
And that,
Mm.
that, that was a, that was a that was a punishment, right?
Can,
Because these wicked jakes wasn't is not from now. It's from way back then.
can,
It's way back then. These jakes are just rebelling against Yahweh Shem Shai. And anytime the jakes, like in time Israel, right? As I say, anytime we shut up, or anytime we do nonsense, we ain't obey the laws, statutes, and commandments. The Most High just said, right, and then listen,
mm.
put them in slavery.
Hey, can. And funny how it is, these same nation that the Lord deliver into their hand and drive them out of the land and get Israel to possess.
Can.
Because of they doing evilness, the Lord actually deliver Israel into their hands
Can.
to be slaves under their hands because of what? The rebelled against the Lord. Watch again, the book of Judges, chapter 13 and verse 1. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years. So practically when you check it out, the same Philistine that the Lord actually, because it had nations that the Lord drive out before them, I think it was 7 nations. But these same nations actually possessed them into captivity again.
Can.
Mm.
Every single
Yeah,
nation on the face of the earth.
can,
That why the scripture says we reward them, we can reward them the same way. Right?
can. Mm. Yeah, and and after all this captivity, Israel, like where the scriptures in Jeremiah, is Israel a homeborn slave?
Hmm.
Jeremiah asking the Lord. Again in Second Kings, let me just bring it out. Second Kings chapter 17 and verse 6. It's in the 90th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria. So the king of Assyria, the Assyrians possessed Israel, mm, and carried them into Assyria and placed them in Hala and in Habor by the river of Hosan and in the city of the Medes. Mm, yeah. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their power, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods. Hmm. Yeah. So we actually see they went and rebelled against their power. Hmm. That's why they was delivered into the hands of the Assyrians. And from the Assyrians now, the Babylonians took us into captivity. Hmm. Because they're going back into Daniel 7 with the the dream Nebuchadnezzar had concerning the figure of the man. And Nebuchadnezzar was that golden head. Let me just bring it out for edification's sake.
When I check it out too, some of these nations, these same nations that the Most High give us the power to defeat, right? These same nations the Most High give us the power to defeat, right? When Moses used to fight them in days of old, it's when we rebel. It's what going on. It's some of these same nations the Most High can put you under captivity. And these jakes and them so hard headed. These jakes and them so hard headed. That's the same thing over and over. The same thing over and over. That's recurring over and over and over and over until the day we get.
So like Daniel chapter 2, with the vision of Nebuchadnezzar here. So verse
And with these jakes, them do understand too. If we just stay in the wicked ways, right? If we just stay in the wicked ways, we're going to go on. Because Abraham get just soon. It's for the Musaita, it's for the Musaita harass, for you to harass spirit. Musaita give you that spirit to come out of this wickedness that you're in right now. Because we just gonna be like the ancestors and them, the forefathers and them, just making the same mistake over and over. And then we gonna go into captivity again.
But hey, Daniel chapter 2 and verse 32. The image, this image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Right? So this was the image that Nebuchadnezzar saw. So I just going briefly through it. In the jumping down to verse 37, it said, "Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for Yahweh of heaven had given thee a kingdom, power and strength and glory." Because we know, as the scriptures say, let me get it in the same scripture, Daniel chapter 2 and 21. It say, and he um, um, let me start at verse 20. It said, Daniel answered and said, "Blessed be the name of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, forever and ever. For wisdom and might are his, and he changeth the times and seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings."
So, Yahweh Shai does all this because he's the all powerful, right? He's the all powerful, like he tell Jeremiah, right? He ordained it from since he was in the mother's womb. So the Most High does all this. He's the potter. That go back to the wisdom of Solomon, right? He make one vessel for good and make one vessel for evil, one vessel for the clean and one vessel for the unclean.
Yeah, as the brother was talking about, the potter and the clay, one to dishonor and one to honor. But yeah, this is going into it, say, and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. So actually, all these kings that were placed upon the earth to rule, the Lord actually give them that power to do so. He actually placed them in that position. Yeah. Jumping back down there. Let's see. Right. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowl of heaven hath he given in thine hand, and had made thee ruler over them all. Thou art the head of gold. Yeah, he actually is the head of gold there. Because Nebuchadnezzar, okay, Um, hey, go down a little more into this. I go and grab see. A little information.
Yeah, continuing. Because in verse Daniel chapter 2 and verse 38, you see, and wheresoever the children of man dwell, the beasts of the field, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thy hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. That thou is this cool, yeah, that thou is the head of Gulan. Yeah, so all these kings that come upon the face of the earth, right? Even in this time, and might not have kings like how we have it in England, how the Queen of England and the King or the Prince, whatever it is. But like all these leaders, all these heads of society, right? Them is the kings right now. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, all these billionaires in society, them come like the kings like back then. Them is the kings right now. And the Most High do all these things. The Most High put them up and the Most High bring them down. All them with a feel have a high stature, right? The Most High put them in that. The Most High put them in that position. You see, and after thee shall arise another king inferior to the other, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over the earth. Verse 39, and after thee, yeah, so like verse 40, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for so much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces. Right?
Yeah.
That go back to the iron. That was the go back to the Babylonian king.
Hmm?
The iron. That
Yeah.
was in verse 40.
Yeah, well, no, verse, am I getting it? Verse 40, it say, no, it, let me read it back from verse 39, because we get that, Nebuchadnezzar was that head of gold,
Gone.
because he was the, ruler of the Babylonians, right? He ruled from 605 to 539 BC, right? And and after these shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another, yeah, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. But the kingdom of silver, right, was the Medo-Persian Empire, which ruled from 539 BC to 331, right? And let me get a quick. After the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, um, when he actually passed down the throne to Belshazzar, after the Medo-Persian came into rulership there. I'm gonna get that, Maccabees chapter 1. Yeah. Yeah, because after Belshazzar, Darius, the king of Persia, came into rulership there. Hmm. Yeah. Um, which was the a joint kingdom between the Medes and the Persian Empire. right? That is why it say the there was a very strong empire. Um, back there, right. After Darius, the king of the Medes, right? It was the, the Grecian Empire, right? Which they which they was they were the brass, right? That it saw that the Nebuchadnezzar saw in his vision. They ruled from 331 to 168 BC, which was right. I'll get that account in the book of First Maccabees chapter 1 and 1. It's and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, right, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, so Alexander the Edomite had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. Yeah. So it was Alexander. He was the one that came into that that rulership after Darius, that the Lord actually placed and set up there. Mm. Yeah, and from throughout the captivity under the Grecian Empire, when Alexander died at he only reigned for 12 years. Mm. And he split up the empire amongst his four generals, right? Which was I'm gonna get the names: Ptolemy, Cassandra, Lucius, and Antigonus, right? So after the Grecian Empire, it came for the Roman Empire, right? Which was the red dragon,
Mm.
right? From an um they ruled 168 BC to 476 AD, right? Which was a red dragon, as the brother even bring out in scripture, going back into the Revelation chapter 12, right? But what we're going down deeper into now is this second Ezra, the second Ezra chapter 11 here. Okay, because this is the part this is the part I actually wanted to bring forth here. Second chapter 11, and I'll read from verse 1. It say, Then saw I a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle, which had 12 feathers, right, and 3 heads, right. So that eagle with the 12 wings, that actually was in the time uh, of the Roman Empire, whereby Julius, the 12 Caesars are speaking of. Hmm. Julius Caesar was the emperor. Hmm. Yeah, ruling Rome at that time. Right, and it goes on to say, and I saw, and behold, she spread her wings over all the earth, and all the winds of the air blew on her and were gathered together, going back to all the other nations.
Mm.
Hmm. Because when they come into power, all the other nations, give subjection to her. It said, and I beheld out of her wings there grew other contrary feathers, and they became little feathers and small. Yeah, because out of the 12 there were other Caesars after, but the main 12, right? Well, let me call them out. Um, from the first emperor was Julius Caesar, right? This is from the Harper's Bible Dictionary here. The second reign was um, Augustus Caesar, which was Augustus Caesar was relative unto Julius Caesar. He reigned from 27 AD to 14 AD. Then Tiberius um, from 14 AD to 37 AD. Caligula 37 AD to 41 AD. Colotius from 41 AD to 57 AD. Nero 54 AD to 68 AD. Galba 68 AD to 69. Vespasian 69 to 79 AD. Titus 79 to 81 AD. And what? Domitian 81 AD to 96 AD. Because I'm gonna go on down in this verse 5. Moreover, no, because verse 4. But her heads were at rest. The head in the midst was greater than the other, yet rested it with the residue. Because that head in the midst was Julius Caesar. He was the main man. He actually um was running the first triumvirate, which was consisting of Pompey, Julius, and um, Octavian. Yeah. Mm. And and Crashes. Mm. Yeah. He goes on to say, moreover, I beheld, and lo, the eagle flew on her wing and her feathers, and rained upon the earth and over them that dwell therein. And I saw that all things under heaven were subject unto her. And yeah, because um the Romans, they was given rulership over that. It wasn't the whole world actually, but it was that whole jurisdiction they was controlling and ruling over, mm, which was the whole of Rome and these areas. It goes on to say, and I saw that all things under heaven were subject unto her, and no man spake against her. All the other nation was subject unto the Romans because they know how fierce they was. Going back to let me bring out that scripture in Daniel chapter 7 and 7.
Yeah, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 7. You see, after I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly.
Can. Yeah, and that 400 beast was this it was the Roman Empire. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. The Roman Empire. Right? And again which reigned from 168 to 470 6 AD. Alright now.
Can continue and say, and it had a great iron teeth.
Can. And that iron teeth going back to military might.
Can
Because what made this nation so great? It actually learned from all the other nations that ruled before. Hmm. Yeah, go ahead now. Go ahead down.
it devoured and break in pieces and stamp the residues with the feet of it, and
Can. So that to show you how terrifying and dread this this nation was. Hmm. You finish it now?
yeah, see, and it was devised. It was like, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it,
Yeah. It
and
was diverse, it was more smarter than all these beasts. As I
can
was saying, it learned from all the ways are ruling, that all the measures are rulership, and
Can
the in a sense all
only mistakes that the other nations made them know not to make it.
yeah, in a sense all the strategies,
Can
right, they used to use for the other nation actually used to bring dominion, they learn from that. Hmm. Um, that is it on now.
I will be
Go,
saying
go
it's
ahead
and
now.
it had 10 horns.
Yeah, and that 10 horns, hey, that 10 horns going back to bring all that scripture in Revelation. Um, listen, the 10 horns and the 7 heads. Yeah, yeah, buddy. I think it's Revelation 17 or 18.
Something.
Right, Revelation 17. Yeah. Um, 17 and 7.
Yeah,
It say,
yeah.
yeah, you got it.
Yeah, this is book of Revelation 17 and verse 7. It say, and the angel said unto me, wherefore doest thou marvel? And yes, right here. Yeah, wherefore do thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that cried with her, yeah, that carrieth her. So like, yeah.
That's not. I'm gonna just check back some there. That was Daniel's. Let me just check some to make sure. Oh, yeah. I'll drop that because that 10 horns was actually going back into
Different countries.
the this one. Right. Yeah, the 10 horns actually going into the countries that it was back in the Roman Empire back then. Hmm. I want to stray on that too much. So I'll go back to the I'll do it in there. I'll go back to the second address. To drop that. Yeah, second address chapter 11. Right. I'll jump down to about verse 30, 38. It say here that here thou I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee, art now thou it that remainest of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come to them. Yeah, because since in back then, right, the Lord kept in that judgment. The things that the hey, let me read on down. It say, and the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. Mm. Yeah, and this actually going back into the Caesars and them. The Caesars that actually you know destroy the children of Israel. Because our meat is the children of Israel. It says, for the earth has thou not judged with truth, for thou hast afflicted the meek,
And
which was the children of Israel. Thou hast heard the peaceable, Thou hast loved liars and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Yeah. Hmm. That is what made all the other nations to fail and to get subjection to the Roman Empire, because they used to go picking war upon the other nation. Hmm. Yeah. So no nation at that time could have fight against them. None of them didn't have the power to rise up against them. Hmm. Yeah. Because hey, and it have proof for that, even in time because I was supposed to bring out this too with the time of Vespasian and Titus when they were ruling, which was 70 AD, which was the time of our Lord, the Caesar Borgia. When the Messiah actually walked, the Caesars and them was in power. Hmm. Because let me go and get an account for you in the book of Matthew. Wait, let me just Right. We're on Matthew chapter 22 and verse 70.
Let's look at Matthew 22 and 17.
Yeah, from verse 70.
This is Matthew chapter 22, verse 17.
Hmm.
Yeah, it say, tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not?
Yeah, because it says the Pharisees them, just nagging the Lord now. Go on down now.
Yeah, but Yahushua perceived their wickedness and said, why tempt me? It's like, why ye tempt me, ye hypocrites?
Shew me the tribute money.
Can,
And they brought unto him a penny. So that tribute money was that tax money that all the nations had to pay unto Caesar.
can,
He said to show him that the tribute money, and he said unto them, who is this image and subscription? They say unto him, Caesar's. Then saith he unto them, render therefore unto Caesar that the things which are Caesar's, and unto Yahweh the things that are Yahweh's. You
can,
know, because I to show you that it was the Caesar Borgia was in power, or was bringing out that wrath and that subjection to all the other nations. That the red dragon, you know, because even in time of 70 AD, right, when they went in Vespasian and Titus, you get that recorded in the book of Timbuktu, where the brothers and them, the El and the God, actually brought out, showing you how they went and destroyed Jerusalem. Hmm. Go on and get rid of the rest of Israelites dwelling in Jerusalem and burn Jerusalem to the ground. You could bring out that scripture in Psalms 137 and 7.
let's look at Psalm chapter 137 and verse 7. It say, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
Yeah, the train I them, these Romans, you know, that race it, going into burn it, you know. How they burn down Jerusalem to the ground, they
Can,
gone in and slaughter all the Israelites and took some of them and take them into captivity. Them a bring out the say in the book of Luke, where Yahushua was prophesying unto them and saying, Luke chapter 21 verse 20, and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know the desolation thereof is nigh.
can,
Hmm. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains. And that mountain was Africa, because Israel commonly used to go into Africa, you know, and even to hide amongst the these these Hamites, uh, because we we used to look a little bit alike the Hamites, and where we could hide amongst them.
Can,
But we actually know we selves from them. There was a big difference.
can,
There was a difference now, boy, because the them that dwell in Africa, which were the tribe Ham, the descendants of Ham, and the children of Israel, the descendants of Shem. But because of the Roman persecution, right, um, around the 70 AD time, a lot of Israelites, well Jews, which were Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, flee amongst the Africans, which is the mountains,
can,
and let them, which are in the midst of it, depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. So when Yahushua was when he was present there, you know, excuse in flesh, he actually prophesied to them that the destruction of Jerusalem is nigh. Hmm. Let's say, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Hmm. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
can,
Hmm. Yeah, that destruction coming to them. With the Romans slaughtering, um, how Jerusalem was structured in different compartments. But it took them how much years, boy? It was a few years until they actually destroyed the whole Jerusalem to the ground. It took them a while. Mm. Yeah, until they bring that destruction. It's and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Yeah. So up to now, Jerusalem being trodden down upon the Gentiles, because what we were scattered all over the earth
can,
in captivity. Bring out the Baruch now. I must see if I get Baruch over. Okay. Baruch 3 and 8.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 8. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
Mm-hmm. Up to this day, we in captivity. Right now, in captivity are the within the revived Roman Empire. Mm. On that this dragon, this beast system.
Can.
Mm. Yeah, right now.
It says, wherefore thou hast scattered us
Mm-hmm.
for for reproach and a curse, and to be subjected to payments.
Yeah, because a lot of people look at the Latinos and Hispanics and think how they watch people as they down upon the earth, as the
Can.
least upon the earth, you know. I tell you, it's sad to see. And yeah, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subjected to payments.
Can.
But your man Israelites out there, they have no more job because of what going on within this pandemic, and they have no money in the bank to sustain themselves. Who knows how them making out? Hmm.
Can.
Hey, that just show how these Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics. That just show that's how we are the poor. So when we brothers and sisters, the Spanish come across into Trinidad, right, and they was making the little dollar, right? They could have go out in a bar and work or so forth. Now the whole place locked down. What will be for them? Bye. Real pain, real hard.
And these other nations just sit back on the rocking chair, just back smoking a cigar, smoking a pipe, and they're just filthy.
Hmm.
But these jigs now, right? These jigs now, we're going with all the jigs now, they're just back and peeing.
Yeah, let me bring all this scripture. Okay. The book of Deuteronomy 28. And
let's finish it out here. It say,
yeah, good.
yeah, and to be subjected to payments according, yeah, according to the into the in yeah, according to in the
The iniquities,
iniquities,
yeah.
according to the iniquities of your fathers, which departed from the Lord or God.
Yeah, because we had to pay that price,
Can,
you know, just as how back then how it used to be, as we did the in the lesson earlier on in Judges. The more Israel sinned, the Lord used to send us into captivity by these same nations.
can,
Because let me bring out this a quick Deuteronomy 28 and verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up high above thee, shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt be brought down very low.
can.
And that's what's going on right now. These other nations climb up high above we. Hmm. Yeah, and we actually low. But we know, hey, this here is the last captivity. Because throughout the scripture, bring out that second Ezra, chapter 6 and 9.
Yeah, this is look at second Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 9. Yeah, it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that followeth.
Can, in the book of Maccabees, when Alexander um, came into power, that Edomite, the scriptures say evil, right, exceedingly multiplied upon the
Can,
earth. Uh, right, Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. They are ruling right now. They who are the place in this order right now.
can.
Uh, yeah,
What you going on right now? They have the so-called the so-called pandemic here. That's to what? Depopularize the nation,
can,
depopularize the world.
yeah. And all of this is just as the scripture saying the Ezra, their hurtful works being fulfilled.
Can,
But hey, let me bring out that back again. Second verse 11. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
them they just be sitting around the wrong table. These heads, right? These top banking family around the world. I shouldn't say, yeah, I can say around the world, but mostly in America, right? In the heart of Babylon, right? Them, that's sitting around the wrong table and saying, all right, we gonna do this and we gonna do that. That's the and the main focus is ULGX
can,
because them don't like the children of Israel.
can.
Them want to be the children of Israel.
Hmm.
They
Yeah,
want to look like we, they want to dress like we, they want to act like we, they want to be we. Them right now them what the kingdom of heaven.
can. They're still vexed about the blessing that Jacob
Can,
was given, which was the seed. That's as he say in Genesis. The days I'm mourning for my father is at hand. Now will I look to slay my brother,
can,
Jacob, which represented the 12 tribes of Israel. Hmm. Yeah. So this is what we actually all seeing out here before we eyes, prophecy taking place, things happening. Second Ezra chapter 11 and verse 43. It said, therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. But hold on, Job 14 and 2, I think. Yeah. Yeah, and thy pride unto the mighty. The highest also had looked up on the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. Because all of this here is just a part of his his um his duties from the Lord being played out. All these things that we seen happening. Hmm. Because soon he not going to appear no more. Just as this word is talking about the Caesars and them. Yeah. This revived Roman Empire soon is gonna be, destroyed with thermal nuclear fire. Hmm. Yeah.
you want to
Hmm.
know Job 1?
Job 14. So, oh, right, from verse 5. Yeah, verse 5. Yeah,
Yeah,
bring it.
This is the book of Job, chapter 14 and verse 5. It says, seeing his days are determined and numbered, the number of his months are with thee. The thou hast appointed his bones, and he cannot pass.
Can. It is on it say, seeing his days are determined.
Can.
That day is numbered that he supposed to be in rulership for. Just as the other nations, just as King Darius,
Can.
the king of the Medes, as strong and as powerful as that nation was, that combined nation, walk on. One time for them was to give up the throne. The Lord, and even Daniel prophesied and so on, um um this kingdom, the rulership gonna be passed on, you know.
Can.
And then the coming, and Darius the king was slain and so forth, you know. But hey, all praises to Abba Shem Shai.
Can.
Cause hey, all these things are happening here, we soon out of here. We know everything that's had to take place, we just had to be patient. So it's a blessing to actually know this word and know these things. Mm. Bring out the Joel, Joel chapter 3. Let's see. Right, yeah, 3 and from verse 1.
Yeah, this is the book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, for behold, in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, and I will gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
And yeah, because right now Judah and Jerusalem, the house of Israel, we in captivity, we last
Can.
captivity, and we scattered across the whole, the whole world right now, you know. It's I will also gather all nations, which is all the heathen nations and things,
Can.
and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is in Middle East, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, who they have scattered. Because when you check it, when the Romans actually come back into power, they destroyed Jerusalem and took all the
All the
the
violence and
Israelites
yeah.
and scattered them across across the world, the four corners of the earth,
Can.
among the nations, and parted my land. Mm. Yeah. So the Lord is gonna actually bring this. The Lord is actually gonna bring judgment unto the heathens for that. Mm. So all this captivity that we went through, all these nations that ruled over us, the table gonna flip upon you. Bring out Revelation 13 and 10 real quick.
Yeah, this book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 10. It say, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He,
Come.
he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Yeah. So all they that put us into captivity, they will go into captivity.
Can.
Mm. They're gonna feel that blunt. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, and hey, it says he that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Can.
So the Lord actually is gonna render vengeance upon them, because as the Lord says, vengeance is mine.
Can.
So we ought to wait upon the vengeance of the Lord. Mm.
Yeah, all the iniquities and all the wickedness that at this kingdom is for Edom, right? All the wickedness that them do to Yahweh Hashem Yashai chosen people, the apple of the eye. Yeah, them gone feed the blunt, them gone feed the blunt of the Messiah, right?
Can, yeah, and hey, the book of Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 11. So listen carefully what it's saying here. It's saying, it shall come to pass in that day, that the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshai, shall set his hand again,
Come.
the second time, to recover the remnant of his people. So this year actually going into the second coming of the Lord. Bring out that Revelation 7 chapter 1 to 7.
107.
Yeah.
Yea, see, behold, he cometh with the clouds, every eye shall see him, and they
Okay.
also which pierce him, and all kingdoms of the earth shall wail because of him.
Can. And this is the coming of Yahweh Shem or Yahweh Shai. You know the Messiah. Yeah. He coming back with that dominion and that power. To bring dominance onto the earth. To take back that rulership. Yeah, and that second coming we coming to do to recover. Yeah, the Isaiah said to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Patrus and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the isles of the islands of the sea. So even all that the brothers all in islands don't feel the Lord forget you. The Lord is gonna come for his elect, and he shall set up an ensign for the nation, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Yeah. So we're gonna actually be delivered out of this. This is a prophecy that this will happen. The Lord is gonna deliver us out of this captivity. Yeah. Hmm. But it's just for we to have patience and endure this thing with faith unto the end, hoping that we is a part of that remnant. Yeah. Um, we'll close off with that. You know. Hey, again, I hope this lesson was edifying. Um, all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai,
Bashim Hakadash.
Rakadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, Shalom.
And death to these wicked nation and these wicked jakes because they just ain't right.
Can't.